Welcome to the AM News. Let's start with returning officer for Ablekuma North constituency, Vincent Obeng, who's given up on the collation process and asked the EC to look for another official to take over. This is in reaction to chaos and near fisticuffs between agents of the NPP and the NDC, which nearly marred the collation process on Wednesday. The EC has suspended the process after authenticating 4 out of 7 outstanding polling stations until further notice. James Aveji tells us more in this report.
The Electoral Commission has yet again suspended the collation of results for Ablekuma North constituency. You would recall that on Monday, they have been able to authenticate some 13 out of the 20 outstanding polling stations. But just before the process could kickstart today, the NDC constituency organizer for Ablekuma North, Musa Kalami, raised some concerns accusing the EC of not telling the truth to the public when he says all 13 polling stations had been authenticated on Monday.
Some of the POs, when they met the returning officer, they told the returning officer they can't confirm the figures on the scanned pink sheet of MPP. The returning officer of Ablekuma North, Mr. Obin, came in front of you, the media, and told you all the 13 POs that they brought here confirmed the figures on the pink sheets. I am now going to introduce or bring in a PO who came in the last time and said he did not confirm the figures on the pink sheets.
The presiding officer for the polling station in question have also been telling his side of the story.
No, I didn't, because there were some figures on it and some handwritings weren't mine. That's what I told the returning officer when I came last Monday.
Handwritings on the pink sheet wasn't
figures, and some part of the handwritings wasn't mine. That's what I told the returning officer. That was what happened on Monday.
You feel the handwritings, the writings were manipulated?
I can't say. I just know it's not mine, so I don't know where from.
What about the signature?
The signature was mine. The name was mine too. The name was mine. The signature was mine.
So you did not authenticate it?
No, I didn't authenticate it because I told the returning officer.
The EC kick-started the process to authenticate the collation pink sheet of some 7 outstanding polling stations. But in the middle of the collation process, there was chaos.
How the NDC organizer did on the 8th of December in Ablekuma North, all the TV stations, you are seeing
So you see there, the police trying to make an arrest. One person is currently being pushed out of the collation room. The other official that the police are trying to take out of the room now is the NDC organizer for the Ablekuma North constituency. The police are intervening now, asking that he's been brought back to the collation center. But at the end of the day, the EC has been able to authenticate only 4 out of the 3 constituent polling stations. Here is the returning officer for the constituency.
We came today. We've been able to do 4 out of the 7. So we are left with 3 more. We brought our presiding officers here. 2 came, and they couldn't authenticate the statement of pool and declaration form. 1 said she can't come. So that is the 3 now. It's so unfortunate for me to make this statement that I'm done with Ablekuma North. They should find a new returning officer to continue their work for them. Thank you.
You haven't got in there. You haven't got in there.
When you call me, I don't come.
You haven't got in there. I think it is out of frustration that he's saying what he said. And I understand him, but
I don't think that's the end of the road. We'll get him back. The other guy said that he can also not deny or affirm. We'll give ourselves time. There's another person who's a lady. He said that even if we bring Caterpillar, he will not come back because of what they have gone through. And my sadness is that if we are doing this to our own people, 2024 is not the only time we'll have election. We'll have election in 2028. Are we sure that we'll have dedicated people to come and serve Mother Ghana? Truth will always be the truth. So that's what I would say.
The NPP's parliamentary candidate, Ekuafri, has also been responding to what has been happening in the course of the day.
By the grace of God, truth will stand. In the first place, I appreciate the justice system that we should go and collate. And I am firm. I want to say on record that I will fight this till end because I know I won.
As it stands now, the final result cannot be declared because the EC would have to go back to authenticate the rest 3 of the outstanding polling stations. It is unclear when they will come back to do that and declare the final result. My name is James Savage, reporting for Joy News.
From that altercation at Ablekuma North, let me take you to Parliament, because there was controversy in Parliament when Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin referred to the NPP's caucus as the micro-minority. The term was first used by the NDC national chairman following the NPP losing several seats in the 2024 election. The caucus currently has 88 seats. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante reports.
There was controversy when Alban Bagbin, the Speaker of Parliament, referred the NPP minority as the micro-minority in Parliament.
But let it be known by all of you that it's part of the duty of the Speaker to protect the micro-minority.
Alexander Afenyo-Markin and his MPP group will not take kindly to that and were on their feet. Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin protested and said his side will not take kindly to anybody referring to them as a micro-minority. He went on to claim that the NDC had been conspiring against Alban Bagbin's re-election as Speaker of Parliament.
The minority caucus hereby protests. Mr. Speaker, we protest the description given to us by Mr. Speaker. We find this unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, the minority seconded your proposal and the motion for your election. Mr. Speaker, when the so-called majority was even conspiring against you, we protested. We stopped them from that conspiracy.
The minority leader, on behalf of the minority caucus, has objected to my describing their caucus as micro-minority caucus, and that this is a term that is unknown to the rules of the House. He's totally right. Suggestion is to the fact that it should not be formally so recognized by the records of Parliament. I agree with you. And so it should not be used by the Speaker, but it can be used by the leaders.
But the Majority Chief Whip, Kwame Governor Sagboja, indeed did also not take kindly to that allegation that they had conspired against the Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, and order says that, and I read, a member shall not use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words on a member or any other person, or B, impugn improper motives. Other person. Mr. Speaker, my colleague suggested that the majority was conspiring against you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have it on record when the minority leader at political functions was describing you in words that can never be used on this floor, and said, Mr. Speaker, that the greatest injustice to Parliament was to elect you as Mr. Speaker. You said that on political platform. Today, a 10-quote minority leader is now pretending he loves you more than the people who actually you belong to. Mr. Speaker, hold on, Mr. Speaker. He described us as the so-called majority. Look at you this way and look at this. Is this a so-called majority? Do you describe this as a so-called majority? This is a proper majority.
This led to some back and forth in the chamber.
This is the first time President-elect has to issue a statement, more or less whipping you to nominate the president, to nominate speaker for the position of speakership. Why? And that's very revealing. It was because there were things happening at your backyard, and the president-elect picked the due intelligence. We are still aware that in this house, when we were electing you, they commandeered armed military men into this chamber in violation of the principles of democratic governance. They attacked the speaker. They attacked. Look, I'll be heard anyway. Mr. Speaker, it was an attack. It was an attack on the sanctity. Look, I will make that point anyway. Mr. Speaker, it was an attack on the sanctity of Parliament.
This has set the stage for many more controversial moments in Parliament, where the NPP really hard bent on ensuring that despite having a very small number, 88, they will not allow anyone to take them for granted, and they will always insist that their voices be heard on the floor. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Well, it's reopening day for basic schools across Ghana, but at the Kwashiman cluster of schools located in the Ablekuma North constituency, excitement turned to disappointment. Learners eager to resume classes were sent home instead. The reason? Their school building, partially damaged in last month's fire, remains sealed off as a crime scene. My colleague Jacqueline Ansamayabwa was at the school to capture the mood on this unexpected turn of events and reports.
By 10:30 a.m. on reopening day, the scene at the Kwashiman cluster of schools was far from typical. Instead of settling into classrooms, learners were scattered, some loitering around the schoolyard, others standing under the blazing sun, waiting in vain for answers. For all of them, the day ended the same way, being sent home.
I'm here with some students to find out more. Now, I see you with your backpack. Where are you going?
Please, I'm going home.
Why?
Please, because our school got burnt, so they told us to come to school over here. But today they said we'll close early, so that tomorrow they'll come and arrange how we'll go to school every day, because they said we'll run shifts.
This is 10. I presume you're supposed to be in class by now, but why?
Please, we are going home because they sacked us. They said tomorrow we should come. Then they'll arrange us. Yes.
And how is that arrangement going to be like?
The CISO said 6 to 12. Like some will come 6 to 12 and the others will come 12 to 3. Oh, okay. Like then that way.
Which form are you in?
Please, Form 2.
Form 2. And when you came to school, what did you find out from your teachers?
So when we came, since we already know that the school is bent, this place was restricted. So we were taken to the senior block behind me. So we had morning lessons. Then later we were informed that we will be running shift.
Personally, are you affected by this in any way, considering the shift that your teachers are talking about? Because under normal circumstance, this would have been your school block. This is where you come for classes, but then it's closed, and now you have to use a different place where you run shift. Are you affected by this in any way?
Yeah, we are little affected because the time we used to learn, it has been decreased since we need to run shift with other classes.
The sight of confused students heading home was a heartbreaking one for many parents who had hoped the reopening would signal a return to stability.
He said the school has been burned down, so they said they should go home. I don't know the arrangement that will follow. That is why I follow up to see how the arrangement will be going. If I can take him to somewhere, then I should.
Want to take him to somewhere?
No, I don't know, because he said the school is banned. They say they should come home. I don't know the arrangement that will follow. So I should come and make the inquiries and see whether they will get some place for them or they should go and search for school somewhere. Then earlier the better.
Public Relations Officer of the Ablekuma North Directorate of Education, Michael Austin Kublenu, says they are taking urgent measures, including reverting to the outlawed shift system to accommodate the learners in the interim.
Initially, we engage the head teachers and we are trying to engage all stakeholders to see the way forward so that we can have our learners back to school to have teaching and learning. And so, as part of our engagement, we realize that since we cannot have access to the classrooms over there, there should be some alternative. We have some classrooms outside. And then we are also trying to engage the security agency, the police who are currently occupying the place, to cordon off the Millennium Block so that the rest of the classrooms over there, we can have access to them and use them to run a shift system. At least teaching and learning must continue. So,
in other news, Supreme Court Justice Emmanuel Yoni-Kulendi has raised alarm over rampant tramadol abuse in the Upper West region, particularly in Jirapa municipality. Citing recent statistics, he revealed that 80% of reported cases in the area involved tramadol abuse and urged residents to stop misusing the drug. Justice Kulendi made these remarks at the annual Dafiama Busie Issa District Students Union, the meeting in that Dafiama district. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Dafiam.
Justice Emmanuel Yoni-Kulendi's admonishment to members of the Dafiama Busie Issa District Students Union, Dabisu National, hinged mainly on three issues which he prefers to call red lights. First was the use of narcotics, which he expressed worry over, using recent statistics from the Jirapa municipality, where there is a high prevalence percentage of the abuse of tramadol in the area. Justice Yoni-Kulendi scolded them to stay away from tramadol and other abusive substances that can destroy their life.
When you see or hear of tramadol, don't run, don't walk, flee if you can fly. The moment you start touching tramadol and putting it in your mouth, you are gone. And don't think this is a joke, huh? There's a research that was done recently in the Jirapa area. And sad, and it's very painful to think that this is my small region and my district where I come from. My sister, who I come after, married in Jirapa and has has children there. They did a survey there. Do you know that 78.5 or 9% of the respondents use tramadol? Okay. And in fact, sadly, the record is not good. Ghana is #1 in Africa on the use of narcotics. Yeah, Ghana is #1 in Africa. I think even cocaine will top the list. But the good news for people like me and you, who come from these small villages, who come from our poor, humble backgrounds, is that whilst the rich people are busy poisoning their minds and killing themselves with these things, if we are focused and you study hard and you pay attention and you avoid the alcohol, you avoid the marijuana, you avoid the candies, avoid the tramadol, avoid the amphetamines, by the time they wake up, we too, we've caught up with them.
Next was the use of social media, which he said was a double-edged sword. which he will want them to embrace the good side of it.
So the phone is a very powerful tool and social media is very useful. However, this same phone that is a powerful tool that can help your learning is also a very dangerous thing you are holding. On that social media platforms, you will see all manner of things. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You will see people doing things that even animals don't do. You will see pornography. You will see people trying to sell you some different ideas and belief systems. All of those bad things are also on social media. So please, by all means, use social media, but use the positive sides of social media. And don't let the phone, which should help you achieve your dream, don't let the phone destroy your dream.
Member of Parliament for Dafiema Bure Isa, Dr. Sebastian Sandari, on his part, urged the students to take their studies seriously, which in the future will catapult them to achieve their dreams.
Learn very hard, and you can become the professional that you want to be in the future. There's no magic. You have all that you need to learn hard, to be the lawyer, the accountant, the doctor, the nurse, the teacher, name them. So please, learn very hard and you get to your dream.
President of the Dabisu National, Gilbert Kapala, called on the DBR District Assembly to integrate the activities of the union into the plans of the Assembly to enable them have a voice. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Dafiema.
Well, let's get right into our business updates with Samuel Kujo-Brace.
Business on the AM News, and economist Professor Patrick Isuming is proposing the immediate cultivation of major food staples to control rising inflation in the country. He is of the view that the only panacea to curb the increase of food inflation, arguing the various government intervention policies have not yielded the desired results. Professor Isuming comments follows the marginal increase of inflation for the month of December 2024 to 23.8% from the November inflation figure of 23.0%, triggering largely by rising food prices.
Well, I think you just been talking about the food inflation for the since 2022 or so. Food inflation has been the biggest driver of inflation, and that is real problematic. I think what the government should, what the immediate thing the government can do is to actually go and set up large-scale commercial farms in a farm place area and get a lot of young people to go and help with production of some of our basic staples immediately. Because the interventions that we are talking about, it seems to face bottlenecks at different points. Let's go and grow more maize, grow more rice, grow more staples, and then start making sure that at the next harvest season, we've seen there's more abundance of food and the food prices are coming down. Because the rising food insecurity is a major problem. While we do that, I think we also have to tackle the distribution. Even in periods where food production has been reasonably okay, transport cost has been extremely high because the roads, the main food production centers are not good. If you take yam, for instance, you can have places where the northern part will have an abundance of yam, and yam prices are extremely high down south because we are not making use of, for instance, the water transportation system well enough. And we have not, even our road construction has not really taken proper cognizance of how we make sure that the major production centers are connected to the major market.
Well, Accra is the fifth most expensive city in Africa in terms of rent. This is according to Numbeo. Accra's rent index of 12.0 also placed it 230 in the world. There's more in this report.
According to the data and research powerhouse, high rents can strain household finances, leaving families with little discretionary income to spend on needs such as food, education, healthcare, and transportation. It stated that a high rent cost raises the question of how important said urban centers are, considering that a lot of jobs these days can be done remotely. Lagos is the most expensive city in Africa, with a rent index of 24.3. It is ranked 122 in the world. In second, third, and fourth places are Cape Town, Addis Ababa, and Dar es Salaam, respectively. Nambio said, while the importance of urban centers such as proximity to better infrastructure and economic opportunities cannot be disputed, the cost of living against revenue can always be weighed.
That'll be all for business, but we'll bring you the currency update now. After that, we have news review. So.